We are talking about solving systems of equations with three variables, and we want to be able to solve systems of equations. In order to solve a system of equations in three variables, we'll use the same techniques we did for two variables. Your answer will be an order triplet, which will be, or order triple, which will be x, y, z. So in order to do that, we either need to be able to use substitution or elimination. And in this case, because we have each equation has three variables in it, we are going to have to start with elimination. So in order to do this, we have to pick one of the equations that nicely will cancel out one of the variables. So we look at the coefficients. We have a 5, a 2, and a 1. Those don't really go together nicely. We have a 3, a 1, and a 4. Those don't go together very nicely. Here we have a 2 and a 2 and a negative 1z. So that actually will be not too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the other two equations and I'm going to use some different color ink to kind of help illustrate where those came from. So right there, we're going to use that top equation and we'll write it right over here. So we're going to say 5x plus 3y plus 2z is equal to 2. So that equation came from there. And then I'm going to use my red ink and I'm going to write this equation right here. Say x plus 4y plus 2z equals 16. So that equation we wrote over there, this equation's written right here. And now we have to take this middle equation and we have to try to eliminate that z. So what we're going to do is multiply this middle equation here. And we're going to have to multiply by 2 because it's already negative and we want to get rid of those. So we're going to take this equation, multiply by 2, and we're going to eliminate the z from both equations. So 2 times 2, that's going to be 4x. 2 times 1 is going to be 2y. And 2 times negative 1 is going to be negative 2z. And 2 times 5 is going to be 10. We don't have to scale that one again because it's going to be exactly the same. All right. And then, well, then we got to look at why did we do that? So we're going to add these together. And the reason that we scaled it by 2 exactly is because we wanted our 2's to cancel. So right here, the positive 2z and the negative 2z cancel. And then we're left with 9x plus 5y is equal to 12. And then same thing over here. We wanted the 2z to cancel. And then we got plus 6y is equal to 26. So now we're to a system that we recognized before, we practiced with. We have a system with two variables, two equations, two variables in x, y. And we want to put these together. Leading coefficient of 5, leading coefficient of 9 doesn't go together great. Leading coefficient of 6, leading coefficient of 5 maybe goes together not too bad. So I'm going to pick my y variable to try to eliminate. And I know that between 5 and 6, we have a common factor of 30. This is a positive 6 and a positive 5, so I have to make one of them negative. So I'm going to take this equation here and I'm going to scale it by 5. So 5x plus 6y is equal to 26. And I'm going to take this equation over here and I'm going to scale it by -6. So when I go ahead and do that multiplication, -6 times 9, that is -54x, and -6 times 5 is -30y, and -6 times 12 is -72. Then I'm going to do this scaled version here. So 5 times 5 is going to be 25x. 5 times 6y is going to be 30y. And 5 times 26 is going to be 130. So we scaled the equation and got that one. Scaled this equation, got that one. And now we want to add those together. So I'm going to add those together. And the reason that we added those together is because we have -30 here and +30, so that cancels out. -54x plus 25x is going to be -29x, which is going to be equal to 58. And then to get x by itself, we divide by 29x, or excuse me, just 29, divided by -29, and then we get x equals -2. All right, so we got one of the variables. So what we can do now is we can take one of the two variable equations. So we can pick either one of these, and we can substitute the 2 in, and that will hopefully give us our y if we do things correctly. So I'm going to take this equation up here that we created, and I'm going to bring it down because that only has 2 variables. That's why I'm picking that one. And I'm going to substitute the -2 in for x. So we're going to have 9 plus 5y equals 12. And I didn't write the x down, but I'm going to replace that with -2. So I took the x out and replaced it with -2. And then we get -18 plus 5y is equal to 12. So we add 18 to both sides. And then we get 5y is equal to 30. And divide by 5. And then we get y is equal to 6. So now we can take our middle equation again, the blue one that we had up here. So I'm going to write that down just as it is. So it's going to be 2x plus y minus z equals 5. Now we have an x and we have a y. So x is equal to -2 and y is equal to 6. So we're going to take those values. So we got those from here, right? We calculated those already. We got that from there. And we got the 6 from here. So now we're going to take those values and we're going to substitute them into this equation. So I'm going to rewrite the equation without the x and without the y. So we're going to have 2 plus minus z equals 5. And the x is going to be -2. And the y is going to be 6. So we get to go through and figure out what our solution is going to be for the z. So we get -4 plus 6 minus z equals 5. So 2 minus z equals 5. And then we can subtract 2 from both sides. -z equals 3. And then we can divide by -1. And then we get z is equal to -3. And we can check the answer. So we have 3 variables, and we used the middle equation already with all 3 to figure out all 3 variables, so we can check it one last time. And we can use this bottom equation here just to check to make sure that it works. So for the x, we have -2 plus 4, and then times the y value, plus 2 times the z value, and that's going to be equal to 16. So the z value was -3, and the x value was 6. And we want to check this to make sure that it works. So then we have -2 plus 24 minus 6 is equal to 16, and we're still checking that. So 24 minus 6 is 18, minus 2 is 16. So we get 16 equals 16. And so it works right there. That was our check.